Hey people, welcome to another episode of PetYard. You all know what we do on PetYard. We discuss everything pets. On this episode, we are going to be talking about breed, temperament, and socialization. Yes, I know a lot of you have dogs that are, will I say, that are stubborn. Let me put it that way, that don't listen to what you say. That's where your trainers come in. Let's go on a short break. I have two wonderful guests in the house, a breeder and a dog trainer. After the break, you get to meet my wonderful guest. Welcome back from the break, people. Like I said, we are going to be talking about breed, temperament, and socialization. Yes, temperaments of our dogs have to do with the general behavior of our dogs when they are with people or when they are even with other pets, and this has to do with inherited or environmental factors. I have a wonderful dog trainer and an animal behaviorist in the house who will be telling us about socialization, breeding, and based on different breeds, he'll be telling us about temperament. His name is Olawale Additional.
Thank you for
Welcome on the show. And I also have Tai Lolulawa, who is a breeder for a lot of years. I'm sure you've been seeing him on various episodes of PetYard. Yes, he's here again to assist us, to tell us about breed and temperament and also socialization. Now we are going to be taking two breeds into consideration. Let me say we'll be taking the Pit Bull and the Rottweiler into consideration. So Olawale,
yes,
over to you. I've had a lot of myths about this lockjaw in Pit Bulls and Rottweilers. As a trainer, how true is this?
it's a myth. That's just a simple answer because there's no technology that supports a dog's teeth locking or jaw locking after bites. It's something that has to do with the dog's will, the dog's nerve to hold on to whatever it's biting. And most of the dogs that people think are dogs that have this lockjaw are actually game dogs.
Okay, like so there's nothing like lockjaw syndrome?
No. What I mean by game dogs is dogs that are used to hunt. Okay. Now, when you chase an animal that you know that if that animal gets out of your jaw, you will go hungry for another day or two. You hold tight. You calculate the bite, and then you hold with every breath in you. That's why the Pit Bull has about a bite force of about 323 thereabout.
Okay, I would say this lockjaw, for example, let's relate it to temperament of these dogs. How is their temperament like? Like this particular breed we are talking about, you could relate it to other breeds too anyway.
Generally, the Pit Bulls and the Rottweilers are known to be very confident, high-driven dogs, and dogs that's why they are mostly used for guard purpose, even though that's not totally what they were bred for. But they have this instinct of daring anything, inquisitive lifestyle, agile. They are agile dogs. So they are top. That's why you see a Pit Bull jump a fence of about 7-8 feet tall. So they are confident dogs that actually highly need high level of socialization to help them successfully live amongst us as domestic animals. So that's exactly why we've been having such negative news about them, because people have not been able to level up to their needs for exercise, for socialization. So there's that gap of meeting that exercise need, that leadership need that these breeds have.
Yeah, I know Rottweilers are more common than the Pit Bulls. As a breeder, Tailulu, for Rottweilers, is it easy to socialize them?
It's very easy. It's very easy. Personally, I look at it as you spare the rod and spoil the child. Okay. You know, anything you would not tolerate, don't give them the opportunity or don't give them the chance. The moment you allow, these are dogs that are strong. They can withstand a certain level of how will I put it now? A certain level of
discomfort.
No, I wanted to use. I'm trying to be careful. Let me just be very, very plain.
Correction.
It's settled. Yeah, they can withstand a certain level of correction.
Okay.
You know, so for you not to get to that level of wanting to correct them the hard way, you avoid it from the onset. So the moment you have the pup, you have to be able to dictate how you want the pup to grow. You have to be able to dictate what you want him to do. Exactly. He should know when to stop. Exactly. He should know when to go in. He should know when you're in the mood. You know, they read us. They read us a lot, and they can take advantage of your softness. Okay. The moment a dog sees you are not, you have these soft spots for him, they'll take advantage of it.
And start misbehaving.
Yes, and they start, because they know you can overlook it, or at that point when you want to go through the hard breaking down now, they have the energy to take that challenge. You know, so they really don't care. You do it and like, oh yeah, that you're done.
Exactly. Have you ever had a case of you beating your dog, like not just with hand? I mean, beating your dog maybe with a stick or something, and the dog retaliates.
Well, I wouldn't want to scare viewers, but the truth of the matter is, like I said, there are times
because you said spare the road and spoil
yes,
the child.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to go. Because no, I wouldn't want them to adopt my methods. You know, one thing I realized early, quite younger, I could do that. I could get a 2x2, I could get a plank or something. But while I grew with bigger dogs, I realized that the dogs now fear that tool and don't fear you.
Exactly.
So I tried not to even engage them in, sorry to say, there are times that I need to just correct them, and I do it quick, fast. You do anything wrong, I smack them. I don't need to get a tool, because they start getting scared of that tool and not me. So the moment the tool is not there, I'm vulnerable.
You lose control.
You get, so they can easily want to retaliate. So like I said, spare the rod and spoil the child. Don't let it get to that.
Okay, that we shouldn't let it get to you having to use something.
You have to prevent all that. You have to make sure. I walk amongst my dogs as the pack leader, like the alpha. I prefer to see this. I prefer them seeing me as the alpha male, not the owner. So if a male tries to stand up to me, I take my stand. I put him in his place, and I get my respect from the others.
Like you put him in his place, like how?
I put him in his place.
How do you put him in his place?
How do dogs put them in his place?
Sometimes it's just about energy.
Exactly.
It doesn't have to beat at all times. It doesn't even have to be physical. Sometimes, can I stand up a little bit or something?
Well, just
okay. Let me just demonstrate. I don't have to stand up, because sometimes it's just about
you stand your ground.
Your calm energy. Notice if you've been seeing some natural wild videos very well, you see the wolves, who are actually the ancestors of these dogs we're talking about. They communicate with their body language. When a senior dog or a senior wolf is about to put the younger ones in a check, the younger males, it just moves right close to them. The tail is up, the hair stands up, and it starts growling.
Yeah. So they understand.
Then the other one submits. So the same thing. That's why when people call me, my dogs, and I get into the picture, I see they are wearing the worst kind of energy. Your dogs are opportunists. They flow with your energy. If that's why many people have asked me, am I using jazz when I enter into their compound? Because I understand that knowledge of energy. I walk in like part of the family, calm, assertive.
No fear.
So when you want to correct a dog, sometimes it doesn't have to be by beating.
Okay.
But if any of the dogs go into fighting and I say, hey, from the room, they all find their quarters. Because why? I have been able to associate that hey, they need to touch here today, tomorrow, while they were young. Okay. So there was no need for a 2x2 later, because this is why I tell all dog owners I come across, from the moment you get your puppy into your house, get a dog trainer to show you how.
Okay, so the moment you get your puppies, I know as a breeder, you get puppies at like 8 weeks, right?
Yeah, sometimes younger.
So
depends.
Can you start training from 8 weeks?
Yeah, you can. It depends. You can because when
yes.
Well, I see Wale is already so excited. No, please let's go on a break.
What are you waiting
we'll
for?
be back when we return from the break. Just join us in this discussion. Yes, welcome back from the break. So far, we've been talking about breed, temperament, and socialization. Yes, we've been told that we should socialize our dogs early enough so as when they grow, we don't get the wrong, and it shouldn't be that we've been giving them the wrong training from their young age. We should start training them very early so as when they grow, we can actually control them with words instead of having to beat them. I'd like to ask, Tailulu, is like dogs, is their behavior, is it genetic or it has to do with the way you raise them? Like, you know, you have a lot of dogs that you breed. Yes. Yeah. So far, like the dogs you've been breeding, maybe based on the parents.
Okay.
Their behavior, has it been genetic? Like, okay, you've been seeing some things relating to the way their parents have been behaving, or it depends on how somebody raises the dog?
Yeah, most cases it's genetics. In most cases. Sometimes it's poor management.
Okay.
Yeah, so if I'm going to break it, okay, in these two aspects now, genetically, like I always like to do, practical experiences, things I've gone through. I've bred some certain dogs that combination, I never repeated it because the temperament passed down to the puppies were uncontrollable. So when you have an aggressive male, that you've been able, and that's another importance in getting the pedigree of what you're buying, because you know what the dog was bred for. There are some dogs that have been bred for game. Well, I feel
not everybody would understand what you mean by pedigree of what.
Okay, like when I'm talking about pedigree, you know the history of the dog, you know the history, the lineage, the ancestral history of what you're buying.
Like a family tree.
A family tree, something. Exactly. So you know the father and the mother on both sides, the grandparents. So there are some write-ups about most of these dogs. There are some breeders, like, for Rottweilers too, there are some breeders that breed show dogs.
Okay.
The dogs are for the ring. When I talk about show dogs, now they breed to conformity. They want the dog to have this level of size, this size of head, the bone mass, the structure. They have nothing to do with temperament.
Okay, just
they have nothing to do with aggression. You get the breed for physical appearance. There are some that like them energetic. They don't like a dog that is quiet. We want these dogs to be moving. So when I see a male that's very active, jumpy, I look for a female. I know that the puppies will inherit that trait. Now that could also be altered. But do you look for a calm
female or a female with the
same? No, it depends on what you're breeding for. If you have a very good male, good physique and everything, and you want to improve on the quality of the structure for show, you would necessarily not have to breed with an aggressive female because you might miss it. So now you have to start looking for a female that has been bred for a calmer temperament.
Okay.
So combining them, you kind of reduce. So if you're coming with 70, 30, you kind of reduce it. You have come to an equilibrium. So you can also have 50-50 of both. Then continue that breeding again. That male or female probably to a lower aggressive but good physically structured dog. You'll be able to balance it.
Okay, Tailulu, can you say a dog's behavior is genetic or it depends on how you raise the dog?
Yeah, it depends. It comes in both sides. You know, we could look at it from genetical angle. We could look at it from how the dog was brought up. Genetics in sense that from, like I always do, speak from practical examples and experiences. You know, I've had a particular breeding that I never had to repeat that breeding because both parents were aggressive and the puppies were uncontrollable when they got to maturity stage. So when saying that, I as a breeder was able to break that in the father. He had that tendency, the mother had the tendency. I as a breeder had the experience to break them, but most of these puppies went to dog owners. Okay. So now that's the part where we come to how they were brought up. They went to dog owners. If they probably went to a dog owner that could handle a dog like me, or a breeder, that person would have been able to break that temperament, or a trainer. A person would have been able to train the dog at that early stage to be able to reduce that aggressive nature. But if it's wrongly brought up, then it gets out of hand. So that's why it could be genetic, it could be the way the dog was brought up.
So I know a lot of you ask questions about purpose of getting a dog when you want to sell dogs. So, but why would you want to sell a dog to somebody like just a pet owner and you sell a dog that is aggressive? Or do you feel the person will get a trainer like?
The truth of the matter is most of them, I know you do not, most of them don't even, they tell you something else, they end up doing something else.
True.
Okay.
So
like,
let him continue the answer. I just thought I should just chip that in.
Okay, like,
give an example.
Like from where he said now, if someone calls, I've had strange calls in time, you know. someone calls and say, I want an aggressive dog, I want a dog that can kill, I want a dog based on their environment. Maybe they've had burglars and they just want a dog to scare them off, or a dog that, okay, if it kills one person, nobody comes again. I try to discourage them or cancel that understanding, because when you want a dog that can do all that, you yourself become an eventual target when wrongly managed. So if you request, there are some facilities that request for guard dogs. So when the facility requests for a guard dog, I know they need a handler. Okay, so I could now advise, we have what you want, but you need someone to be able to train this dog. You need someone to be able to put this dog through this process, because it's just like sending the dog to a new environment and he getting there not knowing what to do.
Okay.
So they need someone that will be able to groom them, tutor them. So I know Wale would break that more. Trainers, firstly, should train the handlers, the client. Yeah. After training them on what to do, then they can now, so if you train the dog, you continue from where. So it's all about consistency. Okay. So if we have such requests, we try to also educate most of these clients. Some of them want a dog that they just want to breed. They will not tell you, this is what I want to do. They'll tell you, we just want a male dog. Then after like 6 months, I was like, okay, we might get the female. We start asking questions. They get the female. Then now they've not told me why they want to do. I already know why. Why? So, but when you try to advise, they now say, no, sir, they will know what's up with one more. Sorry for my English. They say they will. Sorry for my. So they say they will fight and everything. So that somebody advised me to get a male and a female. You know why? You know why they going?
Or that my dog is getting lonely.
Hey, I need a companion for the dog.
Then
so
they start breeding
all those grammar comes. Then we start having puppies that we have no knowledge about.
Okay, that they won't even consider. They won't consider all these things you mentioned about pairing,
because they have no idea about it. Because they have no idea about it.
They just have male and female.
So that's where the trainer comes in. The trainer comes into your house and can easily tell you the temperaments of your dog and what to do and what not to do.
Wale, have you ever had a situation where you had, I would say, an adult dog, and you had to train the dog, and it was difficult? Like, do they still, how will I put it? Do they still like adhere to training even when they reach adulthood?
Yes, they do. So, but nevertheless, I would like to use this opportunity to beg our dog owners, make this job easy for us. Trust me, no dog is beyond training. It's only going to take longer duration of time.
That's when they are older.
Exactly. Especially when we're dealing with very aggressive, dominant dogs. I don't train such dogs in the client's house. The dogs have to come to the facility where we build trust first. Now, it's one like Taidolu was saying the other time, talking about using force, physical method of correcting dogs. As much as possible, I discourage it. But some dogs that are already a red zone case, we are not doing preventive anymore. We are curing. And so if you understand the psychology behind that behavior, you will understand that in the forest, in a pack, dogs fight for leadership. The strongest of them all leads over 10, 20 dogs. So the dog has already crossed to that state of mind that I'm in charge of the whole house.
Okay, we want to
has beaten everybody in the house. And you get. So I have to bring him into the park, use my dogs, and occasionally, where the need comes, professionally correct him physically sometimes.
Well, sorry, excuse me, Wale. I think I need to go on a break. Don't go anywhere. It's still PetYard. We'll be right back. Yes, welcome back from the break, people. We've been talking about temperament of dogs, and also Wale and Taidolu are advising our pet owners, our dog owners, to please train their dogs early enough so as we don't have, I'll call it bad owners. I won't say so we don't have bad dogs, bad owners. So we don't have a lot of bad owners in town. Contact good trainers to train your dogs. And even if you'd like to breed dogs, tell whoever you bought your dog from, let your breeder know if you want to breed your dog. Don't just start giving them excuses for breeding dogs and then you now start breeding dogs that you can't control based on their temperaments. Yes, I would like to go into socialization of dogs. Tailulu, how early would you advise people to socialize?
I think Wale should be able to, because socialization, we breeders, or most of us, we really don't take cognizance into that.
Those things, okay.
Because you have a number of dogs, and for instance, in my kennel, every dog knows what to do. Every dog knows when I'm serious. Okay. I don't have to do this particular. I don't have to give this particular dog this particular time. The only time I will do that is when I say, okay, you're trying to be a knothead, then I need to break the knot. Okay. But they all know when I say cage, every dog knows his or her kennels and cages and go into it. When I stop, they know. When I back, they all know what to do. So for us, it's more or less collective.
Collective, okay.
You know, but I know a trainer will be able to, if I'm selling a puppy to you, I'm a breeder, I've bred, I've met all requirements and standards to the best of my own ability, and I've handed over to the owner.
So you continue. The owner continues.
My contract has ended
after selling the pup or giving out the
So
pup.
I like to tell my fellow breeders and dog owners and everything, let's know what to do. Give the right person the right job. Not because I sold the dog to you means I'm the perfect person to train the dog. Some people do that because of what they will get. So when a trainer is collecting a dog, a dog owner gets a dog, let the trainer go for the training.
So,
let the groomer go for the grooming.
So everybody has their job.
Go for treatment.
Everybody has what they do.
Everybody, we all have
okay, so I think Wale should take that then.
Yeah.
How early, like what would you be able to tell us about socializing dogs, and how early should we socialize our dogs?
Let me just bust your bubble a little bit. Okay. Socialization begins from the minute or the hour the puppy steps out of the mother.
Really?
Yeah. You start getting them used to touches. Some dog owners today find it difficult to take their dogs to the vet because the dogs are not so used to being touched, to opening their teeth, to checking their paws and all these things. So from the moment the puppy comes out from their mother and the breeder starts work with them, intentionally they just touch them, get them used to human touch, and as they grow, the first 8 weeks the dogs will spend with the breeders are also very important.
So that's also part of socialization.
Yes. What is socialization? It's intentional exposure of a dog to different scenarios, different people, different sounds, different objects. Okay. To achieve calmness, confidence, and comfortability with those things.
Okay.
That's what will make you see a dog being exposed to a vehicle for the first time, running around like it wants to
get scared.
Or he hears the horn of a vehicle and it's just startled. But as a breeder, they usually, or many of them, or most of them, who actually understand what socialization is. You see some of them, they use their bowls. When it's meal time, they use a stainless bowl. They start hitting it. While so that the dogs they'll be used to sounds, they won't be afraid of sounds. So they associate that sound to a pleasant experience, which is food. There is no way they will be afraid of sound because they remember that whenever I hear that sound, it's something pleasant. So that's just the idea behind socialization. Now, taking it from the breeders, the moment the puppy gets into your house, socialize the dog with as many objects as possible. You will see some very confident dogs that have never seen umbrella. The day it rains, and even you, the owner, just come in with an umbrella, you pop the umbrella up, they will run away.
It happens.
It doesn't mean the dog is a problem. It tells me you have a lot of work to do. You still have some more work to do.
Okay.
Every opportunity you have, the beach, visitors, different engines, machines, lawnmowers, clippers, air clippers, anything, sound, objects, anything.
Even walking them, crossing
on the street. Gutters, thank you very much. Everything you can expose your dog to will determine the level of confidence that dog will achieve. That's what makes you able to predict your dog. Okay. When you say, your dog, we saw your dog on the street and he's afraid of you, that can never be my dog. Why? Because I've done that assignment.
At home.
I've done my own work. I've taken him out. He's used to gutters. That's why you see dogs on the street when you're going on a walk. They want to chase everything that moves. If they see a bike, they want to attack. They see lizards, they want to attack. That's another extreme of the lack of socialization. So for dominant dogs, they want to kill everybody that passes by because they've not been socialized enough with this environment to make them know that these people are they are not threats until they are threats.
Yeah.
So on the other hand is fear. So if you don't socialize your dog enough, it will be afraid of things that naturally it shouldn't be afraid of. So there are two extremes, fear and aggression. So a dog is socialized so that a dog can be stable, balanced, and it can be a very safe pet in our society. So there won't be a situation whereby a dog will just break loose from the compound and will kill as many rams as it comes across on the street, and even human beings. So you can be rest assured, or attack people, because you know that you have socialized him enough. He understands threats. You know, and all that.
So how well would we recognize socialized and unsocialized dogs? Like, okay, when I see a dog now, what are things to look out for? Yeah, I know that if you want to touch somebody's dog, you have to ask, yes.
Definitely.
But when you see a dog coming, normally when you walk your dogs, people start running, like, they start crossing the road, like they don't even want to pass near the dog. When I see a dog, how would I know, okay, this dog is socialized, even before asking the owner?
Well, let me just break something.
No problem.
First and foremost, I would advise the viewers, somebody is walking a dog, they are unpredictable. Whether properly socialized or not, avoid contact. I have my dog, I know my dog, I know what my dog can do. You don't know what the dog can do. The dog might want to play with you, but out of fear, you run.
And that sends
to go after you.
Thank you.
Because it has sent a wrong signal.
Okay.
Because probably he has known that anybody that tries to run that way, I should go after the person. So that's a wrong signal. That dog doesn't necessarily mean that dog is aggressive.
It's a bad dog or something.
It might want to play. I have a Rottweiler at home that he loves kids. Not until I realized that each time he sees the kids, I had to study his body movement. I had to study his focus. I had to study him very well to be sure that, okay, he wants to play.
So then
because I could not just believe each time he saw kids, he gets unnecessarily excited, start barking and everything. I could have read it wrongly, thinking he wants to attack. So not until I saw what happened, an experience that I wouldn't want to share, but you know, it's a very because I used him for crowd control at some point. You know, so I had an experience and that was when I knew it was just the excitement. He sees kids and he just wants to play with them. But anybody that sees him backing and wanting to come out would misinterpret that for aggression. So that's why I wanted to come in. So
wow, thank you, Wale, and thank you, Tailulu. On this note, I'll be ending this episode. Yes, I know socialization, temperament, and breeding is something that is very wide. It's not something we can actually discuss in one episode. It's very wide. I think I'll be bringing a trainer, yes, on another episode to talk more about this. See you on our next episode. Remember to follow us on PetYard NG on Instagram at This is Popcentral, and always watch a rerun of this episode on Saturdays 2 p.m. and also on Wednesdays 2:30 p.m. See you guys on our next episode.